and welcome to this week's, well, I was going to say this week's review, but there is no review. There is a channel announcement instead, and basically it revolves around ratings. Now, I want you to settle down, make yourself comfortable, because this might very well be a long video. There's chapter headings if you want to skip around, but I'd recommend watching most, if not all of it, because if you follow this channel, the changes discussed here will fundamentally change this channel and how reviews are presented and discussed. So I'd like your thoughts on what's to come. Now, if you ever look or have looked at my website reviews, you will notice one important feature there that has never appeared here on this channel: ratings. In my case, a rating out of 10, with awards for the best products reviewed. Now, I've been running ratings for the entire life of my website, so that's what? 7 years, I think. For some reason, though, I've never used them on this YouTube channel. Why? Well, I wasn't sure if they were ever wanted or needed, to be honest. In the last video I posted, the one on the Triangle Elara powered speakers, and I'll put a link up there if you haven't seen it yet, I did mention that I spend an awful lot of time helping people out there who want product advice. Now, for some of these viewers, I sometimes sense a small measure of confusion, maybe. Maybe they haven't seen an entire review video that I've made. Maybe they've missed a few salient points. They might pick out a few moments here and there. They might skip past other bits of the video where I might praise or offer criticism. In short, these viewers in particular, they want a quick reference, something that's concise and to the point. A rating, in other words. So that's what I'm going to introduce on all of my reviews from now on. When I reach the conclusion part of the video at the end, I'll still provide a summation and offer a few final thoughts, but from now on, I will also add an extra bit. The extra bit will add a series of pros and cons listed in a series of bullet points, and then there will be a final rating out of 10, plus, well, if warranted, an award logo, as I already do on my website and have done for, as I say, well, over 7 years now. So, in effect, all I'm really doing here is bringing this channel into line with my website. But, you say, and I can hear you shouting right now, but what about the older reviews? The reviews that don't have ratings, what about them? Well, I'll do my very best to fill in the gaps and add ratings retrospectively, I suppose. I can't really insert ratings into the video itself for those older reviews, but I will add ratings at the top of the description, so you'll find them there. And do me a favor, would you? If you're checking out a review and you want to know the rating and you want to see the pros and cons, and I haven't put this information in the description, give me a shout. I will sort it there and then. So what about these ratings? How are they awarded and why? So, what about these ratings then? Well, let's start from the bottom up, shall we? And let's start, because we're talking about a rating out of 10, let's start between 1 and 5. So products that receive 1 out of 10, 2 out of 10, up to 5 out of 10. That bottom half. So why would I rate a product like that at such a low level? Well, this product, anything that receives between 1 and 5 out of 10, this product will be rather challenging. It has issues, sometimes serious issues. The lower the rating, of course, the more problems that product has. So what if I give a product 6 out of 10? What does that mean? Well, generally that product is, well, it's pretty decent and it performs pretty well on the whole, but this item will arrive with a few problems that may call for further investigations, shall we say, and maybe some careful demoing. And up we go. Let's go to 7 out of 10. What does that mean? Well, a 7 out of 10 product is a good product, and one that is offered actually with a full recommendation, although it might lack a certain extra bit of pizzazz in terms of sound or facilities to lift it to that award level. So it's very good, but it's not great. The 7 rating tells you that you can buy this product with confidence. Nevertheless, there may be small issues with it, which will be detailed in the review, but nothing to be concerned with. Now, if you've ever seen a hi-fi magazine, let's say you've seen a magazine which has a maximum 5-star rating. Well, my 7 equates to the 4-star. So my 7 is the 4-star. That's basically the guide. Now we've got 3 left, 8, 9, and 10. And all 3 of those are award-winning ratings. All 3 of those will receive an award logo. So let's talk about those award logos. Here's the first, and this is called a groovy. That's what the award is. It's a groovy. The groovy graphic actually shows a stylized head-on shot of a stylus moving through a groove, hence the groovy. And of course, there's that double meaning about 60s culture and the like. Now, there are 3 different groovy award logos. Any product gifted this accolade has reached the same award level that you might see in a print magazine. So this would be the equivalent of a 5-star magazine rating, for example. This is an item that I would be prepared to have in exchange for cash, with no damaging issues or problems hanging off it. You can buy this product with confidence, total confidence. It's a winner. Now, print magazines tend to stop at this point, but I'm not really happy with that. I decided to go further because, well, sometimes there needs to be a little bit of elbow room, even within a top rating, which is why I selected 9 out of 10 for that extra elbow room. Sometimes, you see, you need to recognize a product that just goes over and above. That is, a product with 9 out of 10 is not merely excellent, it's actually quite outstanding in what it does and sits even above your basic award winner. So the 9 out of 10 rating is awarded the prestigious and rather rare deeply groovy. So the 9 out of 10, you will get a deeply groovy. Now, where does that name come from? Well, for vinyl trivia fans, the deeply groovy name actually celebrates the first pressing 6i Columbia label deep groove mono vinyl pressings. And they were issued, whoa, what would that be? The 50s and 60s, I think. They offered listeners that bit more in terms of sonic quality. Well, same with these product awards, really, because anything that gets a 9 out of 10 offers that bit more. It's gone above and beyond the call of duty. In other words, this is a product that's full of superlatives, as well as sonic and design highlights. This is a top-notch product, and then some. And finally, we have the 10 out of 10. This particular award is called the Golden Groovy. The Golden Groovy rating is rare. In fact, it's very rare. I have, what, I would say about 600 reviews on my website as I'm making this video. And Golden Groovies, I'd say 20 products have a 10 out of 10 and the Golden Groovy. Basically, any product awarded the Golden Groovy accolade will have to be a game changer. It will have to transform hi-fi in some way. That can be on a minor level, or it could be on a major level. but change hi-fi in some respect. A golden groovy product has to transform the life of an audiophile in some way, altering how he or she listens to the music, or it moves music to a whole new level. It has to fundamentally change hi-fi in some respect and not just improve it on what's gone on before. That's the difference. Okay, so there's your ratings. So, how will the new review ratings look and how will they play out? Now, as I said earlier, I will be providing retrospective ratings for older reviews, but I thought I'd provide a sort of kickstart right here in this video by rating the past 10 reviews that I've completed on this channel. In this way, you'll know what to expect going forward and how the ratings will be designed and presented. So what I'm going to do here is repeat an edited conclusion for each of the 10 products as a sort of reminder. Now, I will provide the good and the bad, the pros and the cons in bullet-pointed form, and then I'll offer a final rating. Some of those conclusions will sound a little out of context, I know, but I will post links to the full review in the description if you want to see the entire thing. Now, I will work from the past to the present day, which means our first rated review is the Sounddeck Platter damping service. The damping hits the bass first and foremost. It tightens the bass, giving it weight but also speed and punch. That extra focus gives the mid-range and treble more room to maneuver, so the mids offer a similar sense of sparkle. In short, the music sounds new. It sounds fresh out of the can, full of dynamism. This upgrade should be seen as part of general turntable upgrades, alongside tasks such as upgrading your cartridge, platter mat, isolation feet, and the like. For the price, the Sounddeck Platter damping service is definitely worth the time, effort, and money. So, how about the pros and cons? As for pros, well, bass precision was improved. Overall energy was also improved. There was a real get up and go after damping the Platter. Timing is another pro. That was an enhancement. Also, soundstage space was improved. I felt the soundstage itself actually grew larger. In terms of cons, well, this is a DIY service only. The company will not do this for you. You have to do the upgrade yourself. In terms of the rating though, well, I'll be giving this an 8 out of 10. So you're looking at an award and you're looking at a groovy. So congratulations to Sounddeck for the Groovy Award. Next up, we're looking at Chord and the Mojo 2. What you've got here is an update of the Mojo franchise for a new decade. The Mojo 2 gives you tweaks and enhancements and improvements in terms of the basic design and form factor, while the interface remains largely familiar. What really hits the spot though is the sound quality improvements that provide a boost in clarity and also detail. On that point alone, I would recommend an upgrade from the Mojo 1 or a close look if you're previously unfamiliar with the Mojo concept. It's been a while, but I'm glad the Mojo 2 finally arrived. It's been worth the wait. Pros and cons now. In the pro column, I would say clarity is a big enhancement. Upper mid-range extension, I was very happy with that. Focused bass was a definite pro. And also portability. This is a very small unit indeed, and well, it's easily fitted in the pocket. On the con side, well, I would have liked to have seen a 6.35mm connection, but hey, that's just me. In terms of the rating, well, we're looking at another 8. So congratulations to Chord, who receive a groovy, and who doesn't want one of those, hey? Next up, we have a pair of speakers, the Q Acoustics Concept 30 speakers, no less. Now, the Q Acoustic 30s performed remarkably well for the money. I felt that the 30s maximised their design specs. For a pair of speakers priced under £1,000, I never felt that the Q Acoustics were ever flustered. I never felt that the 30s were aimless in their performance. The Q Acoustics, in fact, provided superlative value for money. The design takes every penny of its asking price and gives you the very most it can for those pennies. These speakers give you controlled, naturalistic bass that is also full of information. The mids offer focus and an impressive tonal realism, while the treble is delicate and sophisticated. Now look, this point of view might change tomorrow with a quality competitor in place, but right now, as I say these words, if you're looking for a balanced speaker offering detail and finesse, the Concept 30s are my choice for speakers under £1,000. And the pros and cons? Well, in the pros column, we are looking at disciplined bass, tonally realistic mids. We have a finely tuned treble response. I like the design. I think it's quite stylish. There's a slight retro tone about them, and I quite like that. I also like the focus of the overall design. In terms of the cons, absolutely nothing at all. There are no cons with these speakers, which is one of the reasons I'm giving these speakers a 9 out of 10, which means they get a deeply groovy logo. Congratulations to Q Acoustics. Another pair of passive speakers, this time the wonderfully named Celestial Deep Breath Evo speakers. Now, these speakers are 4-ohm speakers, but they will be pushed through systems where the amplifier will, well, they will take an 8-ohm route, or a best guess, I suppose, across a musical performance around 4 to 16 ohms. I'm sure you've seen those spec figures on the rear of some amplifiers where it will say 4 to 16. There's a bit of a range, isn't there? So you may be stuck with your own output mode, and hence these speakers from such a setup may sound a little chaotic and may sound a little undisciplined. They still have their good points, that's true, but the frequency range is a little confused for comfort. If you're able to switch your amplifier into 4-ohm mode in some way, I did in my review, and just let me remind you, if you want to see the entire review, in the description below, just click on the link, it will take you straight there, and the same for all the other reviews in this video. But if you can switch your amplifier into 4-ohm mode in some way, then give these speakers a demo in 4-ohm mode, at least from my system. The Celestial Deep Breath Evo speakers changed their entire outlook. Even here, I wouldn't call them neutral, even in 4-ohm mode, which is their best mode. There's a slight solid state effect to the sound, but it's a presentation I'm sure we'll find plenty of like-minded fans. It's a sound that offers plenty of focused slam and much more precision in the upper mids. So, if you can output sound of 4 ohms, I highly recommend a demo. You may be surprised. In short, I would call these speakers specialist speakers for a specialist audience. Now, in terms of pros and cons, what are we looking at? For the pros, I would say 4-ohm mode is a pro, and within that subset, I would say in 4-ohm mode, Solid state presentation is a good thing if you're into that presentation style. Bass slam is another good aspect in that style, as is the precise treble. In terms of the cons, well, 8 ohm mode, I would say, is an issue. And also, this is a very large footprint cabinet for stand-mounted speaker designs. They look a little bit awkward, and they sit a little bit awkwardly on most stands. Now, because these speakers are a little bit schizophrenic in terms of their ohm presentation, I'm going to give them 2 ratings. For 8 ohm play, I'm going to give them a 6 out of 10 rating. In 4 ohms, well, they're a little bit better in 4 ohms. So for 4 ohm play, I will give them 7 out of 10. Next, we have a compact digital transport called the M1T from Silent Angel. And well, my concluding remarks included this. I wouldn't call this box a Swiss Army knife of a transport, even though that's what it looks like. There's all kinds of switches and knobs and controls and sockets and all kinds of other things. But I wouldn't really call it a Swiss Army knife transport. It's more of a butler. It's a sort of Jeeves figure, because it really just stands there on call. It waits to be summoned, then to serve and to offer answers to your digital problems. It smooths out those problems. It erases those issues. It removes the stress. It gives you choice. It provides options. It's a sort of facilitator. And on that basis, I can easily see the Silent Angel as being an essential core to a successful digital hi-fi system, simple or complex. Pros and cons then? Well, price is definitely a pro. I thought this was good value for the price and what it gives you. And connected to that is that features set. There was all kinds of features here. Ease of use, considering there were so many features, they were very easy to use. The overall sound quality, well, that was a definite plus. And this particular box is very flexible indeed in terms of what you want to do with it. In terms of cons, nothing at all. Which means I'm going to give this particular box a groovy award and 8 out of 10. Congratulations to the company. And now we have an amplifier, the IDA8 from NuPrime. This particular amplifier design, well, it really is aimed at digital users. It doesn't really have the quantity of inputs for analog use, so it's a bit specialist. If you have a restricted hi-fi chain though, let's say you own a CD player and a laptop and a digital audio player, then the IDA8 will give you a neat and rather wonderfully sounding heart to your hi-fi, while providing a sort of docking hub for roaming digital devices like that laptop I mentioned, and also that DAP. Ideal for those short on space or for those looking at a second system in a smaller bedroom or kitchen, or even as the core to a simple AV system. The IDA8 is well built, neatly designed, beautifully sounding amplifier that will be a success in any stable hi-fi system. As for the pros and cons, well, I liked the small footprint format. It's digital friendly indeed. In terms of sound, well, there's a combination of spacious mids. We can hear delicate treble, and there's an overall sense of clarity here. For the cons, well, there's only one set of analog inputs. However, that doesn't remove the fact that I would like to give this amplifier 8 out of 10, and hence a groovy award. Congratulations to NuPrime. And next we have a turntable from the USA and from VPI called the Prime Scout. Now Now, if you buy this turntable, do not make do with a budget moving magnet cartridge. As soon as you're able, grab a quality cartridge and try to make it moving coil. An Audiophile cadenza bronze at 1400 would be a good choice. Even better would be a Koetsu black at £2,000. But if you wish, this turntable can go very high-end indeed in cartridge terms. Now, if you've splashed the cash and your budget is empty, well, nearly empty, go for a Goldring 1042 moving magnet. That will be a good start and will offer you ideal service until you can upgrade later on. Now, VPI turntables are some of the most reliable in the world in terms of build quality, in terms of setup, but also in terms of sound quality. I feel I can trust a VPI to perform. This Prime Scout certainly does that. It maintains the company's supreme high quality and for the price offers incredible value. Pros and cons, well, in the pro column, setup. It was very easy to set up and a joy to set up. Build quality is also a pro. This thing is built like a tank. In terms of sound, tonal balance was excellent, as was bass. There was plenty of mid-range insight, and overall for the package, even at this price, it offers value for money. In terms of the cons, VPI's own clamp is a waste of space and shouldn't really be there. It's actually detrimental to the sound, and I would use it as a paperweight. Even so, the performance of this particular turntable goes over and above, which is why I give this turntable 9 out of 10 and a deeply groovy award. Congratulations to VPI. Last two now, and we're looking at a UK company, Leema, and their Stream 4. Now, in broad terms, the Leema Stream 4 is easy to use, works well, and sounds in general terms excellent. Now, this is a digital hub. It's not an amplifier, but it does provide lots of digital features such as streaming. There's a CD player, USB play, and so on. There's Bluetooth in there as well. It has none of the confusing complication of many modern competing streamers and network hardware that you find on the market. Some of those competitors look like they've been ripped from the bridge of the Starship Enterprise. The actual simplicity of the Stream 4 when controlled by the remote is quite refreshing, in fact, and should be a big selling point all on its own. And let's not forget that the Stream 4 is effectively an all-in-one. So you may hear a slightly higher noise floor, but that is to be expected. But it also means a smaller footprint for those lacking viable space. You save money by buying all of these components in one go and within one chassis, and you don't have any cabling headaches to contend with. So there's a lot going for the Stream 4. When looked at overall in terms of use, convenience and performance, the Stream 4 is a cracking product and highly recommended. Pros and cons. In the pros section, we're looking at the general streaming performance, which I thought was excellent. Basic CD presentation was also good. Ease of use was also a good point, as was the solid build. Well, all Leema products are very solid in terms of build quality. In terms of the cons, I wasn't impressed with the chassis interface. That is, the onboard chassis controls I thought were a bit clunky and overcomplicated. However, I still felt that the Leema Stream 4 deserved an 8 out of 10 and hence a groovy award. So congratulations to Leema. And finally, we have the Como Musica all-in-one system from the USA. The most important conclusion I found during this review was this: the Como Musica is actually overpriced. In performance terms, there's still plenty to like here, and there are many features on offer, but the Musica is not worth the asking price. The price needs to be reduced, ideally by hundreds of pounds. Now, when positioned around my house as a luggable music source, the Como Musica proved to be an efficient and effective sound source. In absolute terms, sound was restricted in terms of just how far it could go and the amount of information it could give to the ear. But the fine detail is less important in a product like this. I wouldn't expect you to be rooted in front of the Musica, analysing the finer points of the soundstage with critical application. The Musica is more of a casual and mobile listening device. That is, listening while mooching around the room, getting on with chores and tasks. In this way, the Musica offers everything you need, lots of features and a decent, if not exactly sparkling, sound output. In short, the Como Musica remains a good option as a lifestyle sound source. Pros and cons? Well, in the pros section, we're looking at compact size. You can put the Musica just about anywhere you want, and it doesn't really impose itself. There are plenty of features here. It's pretty easy to use, and the EQ options via the supplied app, they were rather useful. On the cons side, well, price, I think, as I say, this is overpriced. The design was rather prosaic, rather ordinary. Build quality wasn't amazing for the price. The software interface was a bit clunky and out of date. There was no labeling in terms of the switches, especially when you were saving internet radio stations on the front, on the interface there. In terms of sound, I thought the soundstage was a bit narrow, and also the mid-range and treble were rather rolled off, which is why I'm giving the Musica a 6 out of 10. And obviously I can't count because there is one more to go. From Triangle, the Elara powered speakers. Now, my task with this review was to find a pair of powered speakers that were worthy of moving to as part of a hi-fi upgrade without breaking the bank and while retaining a built-in phono amplifier. The Triangle Elara speakers fulfill that brief and fulfill it surprisingly well. I was pleasantly surprised at the inherent quality of the speakers, especially as powered units. The amount of bass punch combined with upper frequency detail and clarity delights the ear, making any subsequent low-footprint hi-fi system a joy to listen to. Should owners of Canto and Audiophile powered speakers and the like, should they take a leap to upgrade to the Triangle Elaras? Absolutely, you bet. For our final pro and con lists, well, in the pro section, we're looking at the Triangle's feature count. There's plenty of those. The general sound quality was very good indeed, and I loved the build quality and the finish. And then there's that system matching option, which you can learn more about in the review via the link in the description. In terms of the cons section, well, it did have a built-in phono amplifier, although I wasn't that impressed with it. The remote control was particularly nasty and it looked plastic and cheap. And the system option, which allowed you to match these powered speakers with a turntable with the same sort of finish, I thought that system was a little bit overpriced. Even so, I really liked the Triangles, and I decided to give that 8 out of 10 and a groovy award. Congratulations to Triangle. And that's it, folks. I hope you like the new format, and I hope it helps you when you're using these reviews as part of your buying decisions. Now, yes, I know it's rather tempting to open up my reviews, run straight to the end, see the rating, and switch off. And you can do that if you want. What you will miss, though, is a heap of context and additional information that you won't get from the rating or the pros and cons. And who knows, that extra information buried in the actual review, that might be the deal breaker for the product in your particular case. So miss the rest of the review at your peril. Even so, I hope the new rating system will be of use. Let me know how you feel about the ratings and any thoughts you have about them, and also how you feel I might even improve upon them. Always happy to listen and learn. That's it for this video. Check out the description below, as I say, for those review links. Also, social media links that I'm on, my Facebook group, which you're welcome to join, my website, which has all of those reviews I mentioned, 600 plus, and also my Patreon page, which keeps this channel going. Any support you can give me over at Patreon, well, it's much appreciated, and as I say, it helps to keep the channel going. I'll be back with Tuneful Tuesdays, and we have a music magazine, I think. Lots of CD reviews and vinyl news and a book. Maybe more than one, I don't know, but there's at least one book review there. I hope to see you on Tuesday. Love to have your company. Until that time, folks. Bye-bye for now.